Okay, everybody, please welcome to Dr. Lee and Professor Ogawa's presentation on online English teaching self-efficacy. I always struggle with that word. Apologies as Professor Ogawa will not be here today, but Dr. Lee will be giving the presentation. During the presentation, if you have questions, please post them to the chat, and we will have question and answers at the end. So at this point, I would like to turn over the floor to Dr. Lee, who is muted right now, and she can unmute herself. And then Dr. Lee, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Steve, Torin, and our lovely, I forgot how to pronounce your name again. Sorry for coming today. I'm sorry. Anyway, so basically today Chie and I, we're going to talk about what English teachers see themselves teaching online and kind of their self-efficacy.
Dr. Lee, you've muted yourself again.
Thank you very much. So why we started this research, how we design our research questions, how we design our survey, how we validated our survey, our results, implication, and some of the limitations of our study. Okay, so we started this basically of the pandemic. So it was back in probably March and April, where we were constantly talking about how we're worried about what to do, not sure what to teach, and that it was actually a conversation that came up over and over again, okay, without doing anything about it. So we thought then, if we always talk about this, if we're so worried about it, why do we not simply do something and see what other teachers feel, okay, about teaching online? And that is how we started this project. Okay, so it was back in April, May, that a lot of us English teachers that we started teaching, we were just kind of thrown online and say teach, that we didn't have enough training, there's not a lot of preparation, there were not enough support, and that as a result, a lot of teachers were burning out or still burning out, and that there was simply a high level of anxiety. Okay, and there was just a lack of understanding of how teachers actually teach online and how they perceive themselves to be able to teach online. So teachers' self-efficacy to teach online. So because both Chie and I work at the university context, so that we will probably focus more on the self-efficacy of university English teachers. The concept of self-efficacy has been around for a long time, but use different terminologies kind of in terms of like self-perception, kind of confidence, self-esteem. Bandura is kind of the first guy to propose this kind of terminology for language teaching. Basically, it's something that affects the behaviors, goals, kind of outcomes, and of individuals, and also determines their success and failure. Okay, so teachers' self-efficacy would impact their attitude towards teaching, and which might also impact on the student learning outcome. Teachers who perceive themselves to be highly self-efficacious tend to have more positive relationship with their students, and that they can probably cope when problems occur in their classrooms. We have two research questions for this study. What are Japanese university English teachers' online teaching self-efficacy? We kind of narrowed down to the university context because we feel that maybe there's a big difference between what teachers are doing at the university level and what teachers doing at the high school or junior high school and even elementary level. And then research question 2 is that what elements would differentiate their self-efficacy. So when we're looking at elements, okay, we're not really looking at the cause effect, because that at this stage we really can't really say what have caused teachers to perceive their own ability. But we want to see that what kind of differences are there, okay, in different types of teachers. So we developed a survey. We give it to many teachers to kind of proofread to see if the items were appropriate. Then we finally deliver that survey online using Google Form and through the format of Snowball Sampling. Okay, a total of 138 teacher participants, some lovely people here too. They became our participant, and they completed our survey, both native and non-native teachers. It was delivered in June this year, included 30 Likert scale questions and 3 open-ended questions. So when we were designing this survey, we didn't have a lot of things to fall back onto. There really was no previous study on this, but we just wanted to get it out as soon as possible so that hopefully we could use some of the outcomes for our coming up semester. We found a framework by Lee and Chie. This is not this Lee, but another Lee, and that in their survey that survey included several constructs, which is pedagogical, technological, content knowledge. Okay, we adapted their framework and we replaced knowledge, because in our case of English language teachers, we feel that our field is English teaching. Okay, so instead we added communicative language teaching construct, because both Chie and I teach, okay, in kind of communicative context. And then we also added a self-management efficacy construct, because from a lot of conversations we had with colleagues and other teacher friends, time was an issue that came up over and over again. Sorry. Okay, so this was the original framework by Lee and Chie, and that we basically added the communicative language teaching self-efficacy construct. Oh, I'm sorry, maybe it's playing up a little bit. Okay, let me try one more time. And then the self-management efficacy construct. So there are a lot of question items. So I will kind of highlight a few that we thought they were more interesting results, which we'll talk about later. Okay, so we had 10 items for online pedagogical self-efficacy. And item number 1 is I can promote language learning online, even though I cannot provide face-to-face language support. Okay, so the survey was prepared in a Likert scale of 1 to 6. I strongly agree. 2, I strongly disagree. So these are the items for online technological self-efficacy. If you have a look, item 11, okay, I can teach classes using appropriate technology platform. These are some of the items for the communicative language teaching self-efficacy construct. Okay, for example, item number 20, I can organize meaning-focused activities online. And these are the self-management efficacy construct, which personally I thought they were more quite interesting, because we had some result that came up. So for example, item 27, I can balance the time between teaching and research when teaching online. So what we did after we collected the responses from 138 teacher participants is that we use RASH analysis to validate the responses. From the RASH analysis that we confirm, yes, the 4 constructs were multidimensional, okay, so which means that the items were really measuring the content, the contract that we wanted to measure. But also in the RASH analysis process, we had to delete 5 items that didn't really fit the model. In the survey, we asked teachers to provide some details of their background. So for example, what classes were they teaching? Okay, what kind of mode of delivery, for example, was it Zoom? Was it on demand? Was it through emails? Okay, the number of years of teaching experience, the number of years of online teaching, and also number 5, okay, which is also I was very interested to know how much training, or the number of hours of online training or workshop or seminars that they have taken to get themselves ready for online teaching. So this is the class focus. I'll skip to the next slide because I think next slide is probably something what we were interested more. So among the 138 participants, they were able to choose multiple answers. A high number of 123 teachers were teaching, were providing simultaneous synchronized sessions. So this is back in June 2020. So number of years of teaching experience, you can see that we have teachers with a wide range of teaching experiences, from very novice teachers who have only been teaching for 1 to 2 years, all the way to teachers that have been teaching for 30 plus years. So, and this is the number of years of online teaching experience. As you can see, the biggest section, 86% teachers commented that this year is their first year teaching online, and that we have a few, like a very, very small percentage of teachers that commented that they have had some experience teaching online previously. Okay, you can see that the big yellow in the middle. So the number of hours of online teaching, training, or seminars or workshops, like back, if you could remember back in like April or May, June, July, there were so much information going around. There's almost every day there were emails sending out about seminars, webinars, and kind of workshops organized by individuals, teachers helping teachers, or workshops organized by universities later. Okay, there was just so much things happening. So, but I was a little bit surprised that in June 2020, this is a few months after we started teaching online, that like kind of a large percentage of kind of 30% of teachers commented that they haven't taken anything.
Use a system called EventZilla. Now, I am assuming that you guys are
okay. Less, about 20% of teachers say that they've only taken 2 hours of some sort of training or workshop related to online teaching. Okay, and there are 7% of teachers that say that they've taken a lot of training. So going back to our first research question: what are Japanese university English teachers online teaching self-efficacy? As you can see here, this number looks a little bit strange, okay, because it's not, these numbers are not the average. This is actually, this is not the raw data. This is actually the number presented in Logit. Okay, so please don't see them as a raw data. But if you can see here, kind of teachers kind of perceive themselves to be most capable with technology. Let's have a look at the next slide. So next, I will just introduce some results of individual question items. Okay, so item 1, okay, I can promote language learning online even though I cannot provide face-to-face support. You can see that like almost all the teachers, like 50 teachers commented, yes, strongly agree, and 50 teachers commented they agree. So that teachers are quite confident about their ability to teach online, although they cannot provide face-to-face language support. Here are some of teachers' comment. Apologies that they might be a little bit difficult to see. I've kind of picked up some of comments that I thought they are more kind of interesting, but surprisingly, we also had a lot of positive comments. For example, if you can have a look, the comment on top right, technology has given me more towards to be a better teacher than an entertainer. Okay, so I can give far more better individual feedback on each assignment that I receive. Okay, or if we can have a look, the comment in the middle, okay, middle top, okay, I can reply to students' inquiries and I can contact them through emails, and it's not ideal, but in many ways better, okay, because now students have to reach out when they have issues. Okay, or the comment on top left, okay, many things that we could do by face-to-face can be done to a certain degree online, and some are much easier. Let's have a look at the teachers' responses for item 11. I can teach classes using appropriate technology platforms. You can see that we have 74 teachers that answered, yes, I strongly agree that I can teach classes using appropriate technology platform. Question item 20, I can organize meaning-focused activities online. Okay, so one of our goals is we wanted to know how English teachers are confident about kind of offering communicative language-based classes online. And it says here that yes, most of these teachers who teach communicative classes actually commented that yeah, they seem themselves quite confident. Yes, I agree. I strongly agree. Okay. The item that came up that kind of flagged and kind of got our attention are teacher responses to self-management, self-efficacy. So item 27, I can balance the time of teaching and research when teaching online. Okay? Unlike the 3 earlier items that I have introduced here, okay, quite a lot of teachers said, I disagree, I strongly disagree. Okay, simply because the amount of time it takes in online classes kind of goes way beyond the amount of time you would have taken otherwise. So our second question that we want to know is whether or not teachers with different background, whether or not there will be some differences in their online teaching self-efficacy. So we look at kind of the type of class they offer. Okay, we look at the number of teaching experience they have. We also look at the number of years of online teaching experience, or we look at the number of hours of training that they have. And there was actually not a lot of difference, okay, in this different groups of teachers. So for example, okay, do previous online training hours differentiate their teachers' online teaching self-efficacy? We divided kind of the teachers into groups. but there was really no significant difference. You can see maybe slightly like, but not really, maybe very slightly teachers who had more training, maybe slightly, but have higher self-efficacy, but we can't really comment that because the kind of results are all over the place. And then we conducted MANOVA to see if there were significant differences, but unfortunately there was just no significant difference between the teachers with different demographic groups, backgrounds. So let me skip to the next slide. So does the number of years of teaching experience differentiate their online self-efficacy? Not really. Here we could see that maybe slightly like teachers with kind of moderate, like 10 to 20 years of experience maybe have higher efficacy. But once again, it's really difficult to make kind of statements at this stage. So I'm just going to go on to discussion now. What are some of the interpretations we could make from our results? Teachers in general, the teachers that kind of answer to our surveys are highly self-efficacious about teaching online, but they're not very confident about their time and self-management. Okay, that the number of years of teaching does not really make a difference in their self-efficacy. And also what surprised us is that the amount of training that they've taken also really didn't make a difference in their self-efficacy towards teaching online. Okay, implications: teachers need more support in developing their self-management, time management ability to be able to kind of be more effective with their online teaching duties, I think. Teachers also need to set some sort of boundaries between on and off time, so that teachers need to be, I think, verbalized, told that they don't have to work 24 hours around the clock, that they don't have to really answer to all the emails straight away, because there should be an off, and on work time. Limitations: snowball sampling. Teachers that answer our survey, probably these teachers were more self-efficacious. Maybe we only did a once-off survey. Ideally, it would be nice to see what teachers feel back in June, how they feel now. But unfortunately, we really couldn't track the same teachers to answer the same questionnaire twice. Result need to be interpreted with caution because it was delivered back in June 2020, and many things have happened ever since. Final comment: this is a comment made by one of the teachers in the survey. I would like to end my presentation today with this comment: whether online or not, teachers should always aim for self-development. The COVID crisis has provided me with a new opportunity to learn new things that have made me a better teacher and more adept at using technology. By putting in the effort, I've gone from almost zero to both capable of teaching online and having success in my classes. Okay, that's all. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for a very, very interesting presentation. And I love the ending quote, because I think that is the silver lining of this COVID crisis, is that it has kind of forced the hand of many teachers and really forced a lot of professional development on people. And in that way, really raised the capabilities of teachers on the whole, technologically. So I think that's one of the silver linings of this crisis. At this point, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to either raise your hand or just unmute your mic and ask. We do have this room for a few more minutes, so I think we actually officially end at 25, so we don't have much more time. But if you have a quick question, please do. Dawn?
Yeah, just a quick question. When you said that we were halfway through the semester in June, did you collect data about timings, teacher schedules? Sorry, I might have missed that part. Because actually we didn't start teaching until June.
Okay, so that was a good question. I know back in like last semester, some schools started teaching as early as April. Some schools started May or June or later. So even though the survey was delivered in June, by then some teachers already been teaching for a while. Some teachers only started teaching. So I really didn't accommodate for that difference in the survey.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, some people would have had, 2.5 months of experience already, but we hadn't even, I think we started mid-June or something. So maybe I would have had 1 week or before answering, but that's all. Thank you.
And Nancy, why don't you have the people that you asked to fill out the survey again, and then you could do like a pre-post on it.
You think that they would be willing to do it again?
Maybe, who knows? Who knows?
Fun. Good idea.
Okay.
Well, also, you thought there was no significant differences because Zoom is new, isn't it? Like maybe people haven't had experience using Zoom before. Is it?
I think, like, I was surprised that even because we would thought that people like teachers that taken more seminars would feel more self-efficacious, or teachers that been teaching longer time would feel more confident. But there was no difference in that. It was just like everyone, there was just no difference, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's such an unprecedented situation that people didn't really know what to expect. I think. Yeah.
But then if we could deliver the questionnaire again, if the same teachers were willing to answer, maybe there will be some difference.
I think there may. Yeah.
I think so.
Maybe.
But actually, my assumption would be that the number of years teaching would be almost exactly inversely correlated, because you would think younger, more technology, more self-efficacy. So I don't know if that might come out in the next survey. Thank you.
I'm sorry, guys. We have another.
At this point, I would like to, I apologize, stop the presentation just because the room is needed for the next presentation. But please, before we leave, can we just all unmute our microphones and give Dr. Lee a round of applause for a great presentation. And also for her partner who could not be with us today because of her great life journey that she's beginning.
And thanks, Steve, for hosting.
Okay.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. And at this point, I'll end the recording. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. Sorry. Room is yours. Sorry. I just wanted to give them 2 minutes to finish those questions. You're muted.
Could you make me the host? And then I think.
Yep. And then I'll be happy to leave. Let me see. Wait, why is cloud recording on?
I think we can do stop.